Hello, hello. Welcome back. This is DJs on the beat. So today we are going to be talking about how to create a broadcast template on Pro Tools. But before we go deeper on the creation of the template, um, I got some of the people who are talking. I just did the survey and people were like, Pro Tools is very hard to use. To me, it's not really hard to use because if you can understand the analog connection and wiring very well, it should be very easy to use Pro Tools. That's my own take. But before I move on, so in case you want to replicate this again, so I want to start from the scratch. So you first go to the create. When you open the Pro Tools, you go to create. You put the name of the set. You have this is all you have. You have a project. You have a local session. So you are supposed to create a session which is local. So you create a session, then you pick the name, choose the file type. Are you using AIFF or you're using broadcast wave? Or then you come to the sample rates. Most of the time when you do broadcast, we tend to broadcast at 48, so it syncs up with the video. Then bit depth, you might want to do 16, but 24 is fine by me. So all these ones are just, you can choose interleave and other ones, but I'm going to use this Pro Tools broadcast template. I just started, instead of starting from the scratch, I just created some of the audio inputs, and I created some buses. So it's loading up. When it loads up, you see what's it's inside. So we can start from there. So the thing about Pro Tools is just, if you can understand wires, from how you can patch wires from the analog world, then you are fine with Pro Tools. So when you open up this way, the first thing you're supposed to set up, you go to your setup, go to your engine, playback engine, you choose which one you are using as your playback engine. Mind you, um if it's I prefer you use, like always say, when you're doing broadcasts, um there are two things you have to have in mind. You have to choose a a, a audio interface that has four outputs. So because we are doing a stereo to the outside world, we are doing stereo outputs. We are also doing stereo outputs for monitor. So when you add those two stereo outputs together, you have four outputs. So two for broadcast, two for monitoring. And so you choose your playback engine. So if you are so here now, if it's supposed to, maybe you're using um maybe an Apogee duet or something, or you're using UMC 404 HD, or you're using the SSL2 plus. So that has also have four outputs also. So you can just pick the one here, or maybe if you're using the aggregate input, maybe you're using a Mac. This is where there's a bit of downsides when um you're using a PC, a Windows PC for broadcast. It might give you a little bit of each. But when you're using Mac, you have a very big edge when it comes to using aggregate device. So aggregate device, how do you use them? You just you click on the aggregate device when you're on Mac. You make the input. Maybe you're using probably you're using a, let's say, any digital mixer. Then you are making it an aggregate device of the mixer, then the audio interface. You merge them. The digital mixer is getting your input, while the audio interface is now being your output. So when you match them together, that aggregate device, that's what you're going to be picking as your playback engine. So you can always have those inputs ready now, in and ready to go. So another one you should take care of is your When you go to setup, is the hardware. So this place shows you the if you want to go and do some settings on that particular if it has a launch if it has a launch app, so you can just go and set the buffer rate and stuff like that. But mind you, Pro Tools is very finicky when it comes to changing anything. The moment you change anything on Pro Tools, it will require you to restart. It won't go further. That's the crazy thing about Pro Tools. It's too picky. So the next thing we are going to do now is, when it comes to Pro Tools, like I said the other time, Pro Tools is just like you using a analog decks or analog device. You have to create wires. What do I mean by wires? So when it comes to analog devices now, wires are your friend. You have to see wires jumping around. No link is done internally. No link is done anywhere. You have to see, okay, you have to see the physical cables. That's the same thing about Pro Tools, but they are using a digital wire. So go to the setup, you go to IO. So inside IO, you now have all this one. So you have input, you have output. So now, for we to effectively work in Pro Tools for broadcast, so here is one thing you have to have in mind. I will still be talking about how to do the same broadcast templates on Studio One and Cubase, but for Pro Tools, it's quite let's say it's quite special in a kind of way. Doesn't have a listen bus like Cubase you have or we have on Studio One. So you have to create a listen bus. Also, you have to create a stereo out. So that's the two path we are going to create. So one is going to be handling stream and one's going to be handling our playback. Like one we have, maybe you have a studio monitor in the broadcast room, or you want to use your headphone as a monitor. You have to create a bus. You have to create like a bus for it. So the other thing now you do is just go to the bus. I already have some buses in place. What you need to do is just create new path. So the new path you are creating is just like you are creating wires. So let's create new wires. So let's create like let's see like um eight mono wires and create, let's say, eight stereo wires. So you might just do it and let it keep it. So these are the wires you just created now. So we are still going to use it. So you just create them there, because if you don't create it, you have to now be coming back again to create it. So I just created it, then it's there, so we can come back to it and use. So we click on OK. Okay, so next thing so I've created some of these audio inputs. We have created the audio input, mostly no. So when you want to create anything, want to create tracks now, you just go here, new, Control Shift N. You create a new. So it asks you if it's mono, you are creating a stereo 5.1 thereabouts. Is it an audio track? Is it an auxiliary input? Is it master feed out? Or VCA master, MIDI track, MIDI instruments, or video track? So whatever IV you want to create, so you can just create. So I've done the boring stuff actually. So here now I've done for the way I most of the time I laid out my own mixer. This is the way I lay it out. So first I did the media. So what do I mean by media? Media is just anything you are playing out from the maybe you're using the let's say the pro presenter, you're using anything coming from the media booth to the audience is going to media. You might want to record that, or you might want to send that out to broadcast, so people listening from remote areas can hear what is actually going on in the room you are. So You have the lead pastor, definitely you have the ministers. You might want to duplicate the ministers. You might have more than one minister. So lead vox one, lead vox two. I created and you can see the way I'm creating it, I'm making colors just for references. So you have a mental picture of, okay, this is where those things are, so you can actually move around it. So that's just what the picture is about. So the next thing I created the keys. So keys too, I have left and right. Most of the time my keys is always in stereo. I would advise you do that also. So I have a mono cable from the left and right of the keyboard into a DI box. Then the next XLR cable takes it to channels. So then this is now being grouped into a auxiliary channel. This is now an aux now. This is a sub. So it's combining these two into one. So the same thing for the second keys also. Then the synth keys I'm using now is mono keys. So it's synth, majorly most of them synths, except some synths might be stereo, but most of the synth I use are always in mono. So guitar mono, electric guitar, we have this. So all these are going to be summed into this pre. We kick in, kick out, being summed into a mono bus also. Snare bottom, snare top, being summed into a mono snare. So I should be duplicating one of these. So you should have something like, if you want to have, let's say, let's duplicate. If you want to have maybe a a trigger, you can have a trigger. So we kick trigger. So everything, the three is going to be summing into the kick sub, which is here. So that's mono also. The kick, the snare also. The snare let's make it that way. Duplicate also this one. Snare trigger. Yeah. Okay. That sums into this. So you have tom one, tom two, tom three. So that will be summed into the rack tom. But most times too, I do trigger of toms also. Then the floor tom. You have the floor tom too. Then we have the overheads. So the overheads, the hi-hat, the overhead left, the overhead right makes up the overhead, which is a sub also here. So there's another thing you have to keep in mind too. When you are working with something like this, there's something called in Pro Tools called a solo save. So if you have a solo, when you click on your control or command on Mac, you just press on the S button. That's solo save. What does it mean? If I group this if I group this overhead together and send it to this group, if I solo any of them, it's going to play through this place. It's going to play through the overhead sub. But if it's not solo saved, if solo it, not going to hear any sound, because it's not sent to somewhere. So it's not going to go to, and it's not going to go to the master. So you have to solo save any bus you are sending a track to. You have to be solo saved. So you have to do it for every other one too. We have the rack. We have for the, it's already done on the snare. It's already done on the kick. So on this, that's not a sub. Okay, sub, every sub here is okay. Uh okay, so we have here after that we have a talking drum one and two. We have a bass and bass distorted. Then we have the pre-bass. So these two basses are summed into another mono bass. and you have the sax, the horns one, horns two, the room. So there's this thing I picked up somewhere. I don't know which. I was just watching a tutorial, and to actually recreate how the room sounds like, you need a left, right, and center. So the polar pattern of your mics will now pick them up. That can actually serves as a, let me say, natural reverb for the space you are in when you merge it into the incoming sound. So now I made a divider here. This is what I did here is to make I made this track inactive, so you can have it when you have a track inactive, is grayed out like this way. So I make it a divider. So the media up now is going to be summed into this media. We have the pastor's mic and the minister is going to be summed into one bus. These are all here are buses now. You can see it has a line through them. So they are all buses. Yeah, they have the lead vox, you have the background vocals, you have the all vocals, all the keys. That's plus summation of the synth, the guitar, all the guitars. This is the post, both acoustic guitar and electric guitar, the horns. So that's horns means the sax, anything that is brass instrument goes into this horn. Then we have the bass post. That's we have a bass pre in the other area here. This is a bass pre. Everyone is summed into this one. Then we now gets to the bass post here. So we have also the talking drums sub, the room sub. Every of these rooms is going to be subbed into this place. And then we have the drums parallel compression, all drums. Then we now have the mix sidechain, the all mix. I'm going to be showing you what I'm doing with this mid sidechain. I'm going to be showing us in a brief. So then we have next thing we have is the FX divider, the long reverb, the short reverb, the delay, and the vocal parallel compression. The outputs now, this is where it now gets interesting. The output, we have the stream output, we have the listen bus output, then we have the main out. So let me now explain, because this is where most people get it wrong when it comes to Pro Tools. Pro Tools is kind of, let me see, I won't say it's user friendly. You have to understand the way Pro Tools, you have to understand the language of Pro Tools for you to use Pro Tools. So for you to understand what it means now. So everything I'm going to be sending out here is going to be going to this stream output. So from the stream output, I'm going to be sending a copy to the listen bus via this one here, this listen bus. I created a send called listen. So from the listen bus, then you can now hear it in the main out. I'm going to be showing you how to use it. So I'm going to be showing you how we can do this with, I'm going to be some tutorial. I'm going to be bringing in some vocals, some audio files, so we can test how it's being used. So because we don't have a listen bus, we have to make a mirror copy of what we want to listen to and then send it to a listen bus. So if you want to listen to the whole sound, you're going to be activating this listen bus. But if you're going to you just want to listen to a particular, because for any reason, when you are mixing or doing anything and you are on broadcast, don't ever touch this solo button. The moment you touch the solo button, everything is going to shut down. Nothing is going to be said except that one you soloed. It's going to be sent to the stream bus. So, and you don't want that to happen when you are streaming live. So that's why we created a listen bus. That's the major reason we are using a listen bus, and there's no dedicated listen bus on Pro Tools. So we have to create. It's just what I'm doing now is called a cheat. So that, because it's called a cheat, and it's not a cheat to me, because if I have not gotten to understand Pro Tools, I won't know how to go around it and form that for myself. So now Uh, I have so now let's start routing. So we have done all the background knowledge, you have done on the background talk. Let's start routing. So here now we have the media thing. Let's say this is the media. So first thing I do is on I'm still going to be using the this template. I'm going to give you this template for free, but the advanced template for Pro Tools and the routing part, this one that doesn't have any routing and stuff, is going to be giving you for free. But the one that's going to have the routing and the whatnot and everything is going to be paid for. I'm going to send in a link so you can download it maybe via Seller or some other platform. You can download it if you need it, and you can download, or you can download it just to support. So for the media, I don't want you to go to anything, but just go through their boss and then finally to the stream. So let's deal with the media first. So media, where is media going to? Let's take media to a bus, which is a stereo bus. Just pick any bus, any stereo bus. Then rename it media. So the same thing applies to this. You take this one to media bus also. And you can see I've panned it. I panned it, add left, add right. So the next thing we are going to do now, um so we now go to the media the sub now. We know here now we said the media. So for the inputs, when you are doing the inputs now, you now go for the interface. So maybe you are using the let's say the mixer directly to the system now. You see all the inputs here. Just go to the interface and then you pick the audio units you want to. They are sending the media through. Then you pick it here. The output is media. So the output now is going to be sending to another bus. So the bus we are going to be addressing now is media. So where is the media? Where is the bus and the wire? So you now pick the wire now. Just like you're connecting, this is the media wire is connected to which one? So you're going to media bus. So anything in media now is going to be routed to this place. Let's check if that's true. We have an audio playing here. Let's unmute. Let us play. So it's playing. It's showing it's playing here, but you're not receiving any audio, and that's because no output yet. So where do you want to send it? Then we say all sub. So then we can now have sound. That's because it's now sending sound now. Wonderful, merciful Savior. So the precious Redeemer, that means what we have done here is correct. So the next thing we go to the pastor. The same thing we just did here. So, but before we go to the pastor, let's go back to the media. There's this one here. Okay, this one here I do for each channel I work with. So this is it now. Okay, this is a trim. So there's two things. If I'm not using the waves, I'm using this. So I'm going to use I'm saying this one is going to be one we are using just the stock plugins to just demonstrate. You can also use any software, any plugins to achieve the same thing. So but for this I'm using the trim. So the trim now, so the trim is just to give it gain or increase the gain or decrease the gain as it's where. So to increase the hotness or the coldness. It is not thermometer actually. So You can get that in your plugin orders, and you go for trim. So that's just what it does. It just to increase the to balance your gain structure. If the instrument you are is that is playing is too, let's say, loud, bring it down. If it's too if it's too low, you can take it up. So that's just the way it's going to work. So, but you can see this is a stereo. Let's say it's stereo. You're making like a stereo input. We have to like if you have to like link them together like we do on the digital mixer. We have an input, we link them, so when we increase the gain of one, the other two follow suit. So for me to do that in Pro Tools, there's something we called a group. So the moment you just click on one of the track, hold control or command on Mac, hold control on PC, that's command on Mac, you click on the other one. So that makes the two. So the two are being highlighted. So you go to track, then you group, Control G. When you group, we have something of this nature here. There's something called the media ST. That's just a link. I'm linking both. So if you go to this place now, let's show the other one. This is left and right. The moment I move one, the other one is moving because they are linked via this group stuff. So the same thing we want to do to this our software too. So for that to happen, since we have linked it, we have to now go into modify. So modify, you now say you mix and edit. Both have to go hand in hand. So after we have done that, we go to the global. So for because we want anything that happens to left to happen to right, we now choose all controls must be ticked. For the send also, the same thing. All volume except the pans, you can go in and control the pans yourself. The volume, the level, the mute, everything should be ticked. So then you okay. The moment you okay, you still have one place to go again, so everything can work together. So you have to enable automation. So you go into this place. This is how it's going to look before. Everything is going to be on the left before. So you have to click everything, then add to the right, then you click OK. And that's just one. When you do for this, you do for this one too. The moment you click on one, both will be linked. Or any software, any plugin you're using, they're going to be linked together. The moment you move one, the other. So how do you know these things are now actually working? The moment you see this glowing green on it, that is to say it is automation enabled. So when the moment you move, everything that you move together. So the next thing we are going to now do now. So this trim now goes for, so you just copy it for each copy it for each um you copy it for each track. All tracks have it. All tracks is going to have it because that's what you are going to use to control the gain. That's our gain knob, just like we have on the on the mixer. So the same thing you are doing. You're going to link. You are going to put the gain track on every one. So the kick also. Okay, yeah. And you can see I'm not putting on the sub. We're not really needing it on the sub. We are majorly needing it on the channels. That is to say, when you are working on the channels, everything is going to be sum. So you have to have a proper gain structure before you go to the sub. So when you get to the sub, you're just controlling the volume, how it works together. How you are controlling. So overhead loop, the talking drum, the bass, and go to the sax, the horns, the room. There we have it. We saved this. So we'll move to the next one, which is going to be global also. The next one that's going to be global is the listen bus. So, like I said the other time, you might want to listen because we don't have a listen bus on Pro Tools. We have to cheat around it. So, what do I mean by that now? We have to send a copy of each of these to the listen bus. So, we now go to bus, then we go to I have a listen bus here, and I click on it. So, it means now that if I'm sending anything from here now, I can listen to this on my monitor because this listen bus, the listen bus itself, when I'm sending this listen bus now, I'm going to be sending it in full scale. So you can either I will just put it on let's see post, because the moment you are maybe changing any volume here, it should affect what you are sending to the listen bus. So that gives you a sense of what you are mixing. It can give you a sense of what you're mixing. But here we are put it on pre, anything, the way it's coming into the bus, coming into the channel, that's the way it's going to be reflecting the channel too. So we want it the way you want it at post. So we close this. So do the same thing for, but for this, because it's a stereo instrument, we want to pan. You have to pan the listen bus so it can come out the listen bus too as stereo. I don't know if you get what I mean. So you can see both are also, the moment I mute one, the other one is muting also. That's what we really want to happen. So the listen bus, you can see this is the listen bus. The listen bus now is now an input to the listen bus down here, which is in the output. So this is the listen bus. Now you can see that the input of this one is the listen bus here. So that listen bus now, the output is going to be, we are saying an output stream. This is a stream output. This will now pick. So if we add, let's say, I'm not using the audio interface that has four outputs now. So I just created a dummy out audio interface. So the stream now, every bus is mixing down to this all sub, and then it's going out through an output. So this audio output part now is now a particular audio output which is dedicated for the output. So the main output is most times one and two. So one and two should be your own monitor, so you can control the gain, you can control the volume on the knobs. So, but for the stream, you're gonna be putting on maybe three and four. You can control the volume too, but generally we want it to be on a fixed. We don't want to be moving it up and down. So if you want to put it on 12 o'clock, let it be on 12 o'clock. Then you check your gain on your streaming software. So if the gain is very okay, then you can let it be. So that gain that you have chosen will be the same volume you're going to be using throughout the whole stream. So you have a consistent stream all through. So the second one now, since the stream is the listening, on the listen bus, we have the listen wire that's connected from each of the sends coming to this input. Then what are going to be my own monitoring for monitoring now. This stereo out now speaker is my own monitor. I can listen to it here. And so if you are going to be your stream too, it's going to be your monitor output. This your stereo speaker. This is my own setup. Yours might be different. Maybe yours might be SSL 23, SSL 3 4. the listen box, which is your own, or you put it on this place stereo speaker, will not be your main, the physical output you have. That's one tool you have here. So the next one we are going to do is this. So we now have to now duplicate the listen bus. You can just, since you're not using it every one, so you just mute them. So when you are creating, you mute. So let's see, we don't want it to, for mono instrument, we don't want it to pan. We want it to be the exact way it is. So if you are panning, so you can also do this link panel to main. You can also do this one to link panel to main. So if you are linking panel to main, so anyone, the way it is on that bus, that's where it's going to come out. So you can just do link panel to main. So the moment you link panel to main, you can see it's being grayed out. So the way it is on that, the way you do this particular pan, that's with the same thing is going to happen on the send. So you can just have it link panel to main. So you can have it this way too. So we copy to everything. So the routing has started. Now you need it on that. Okay, we might need this one on boss. If you want to listen to the guitars as a whole, okay, let's do that. We can just, so let's even take this one off. Since you're gonna be listening to the guitar as a whole, you can have this one taken off. Mhm. You can see it's quite exhausting, but when it comes out, it's going to be beautiful. Words, loop, talking drum, um, sax. Media. You can see the listening bus is going for virtually all buses, all channel instruments. This is because you might want to listen to one channel or the buses in isolation. So it's better you send all those to the listening bus so you can listen to them as individual or as a group. So you know how to approach each mix on your own. So you can send the reverb to the reverbs, the delays too. You can listen to them in isolation too before you merge them into. Okay, so the stream tool has also, so everything is in mute. So the idea of this the listen bus is when so for any instrument you need to listen to, just go and click. That's control then click. It unmute them. So anything now we send to, you can see, let's look at before. Let's play it again. You can see only one place is sent to now. But the moment I click on the L, which is the send to listen bus, the moment I click on it, now you are monitoring on your main out. You can see the main out now is being lit up now. There's something going into it because that's where you're not listening to it on your own bus now. So you can now click on the L again. It doesn't play. But when you go back to um when you now go back to the channel and you click on the L again, you can see even here the fourth, all the four is being lit up. When you go down to, you can see same thing is happening again. So it's going from that media directly to listen bus, so you can monitor what is going on in your broadcast studio, broadcast suite, anyhow you want to have it. So the next thing we can now do now is now start sending everybody to their appropriate buses. So the pastor and the minister, they're going to one bus. So you just go to bus, then you create stereo, then you rename both. So that's, we call them past main. Let's make that capital letters for legibility. So these people now, they're not going to the pastor. So let's the way test them. Are they really going to that place? So here we have the lead pastor and the minister. So let's go to their sub. Here we have the lead pastor, and so we now have to connect their wire. So their wire is now what? We now go to the bus. We go to the, let's search for their bus, which is Pastor Many. I don't seem to find that here. That's it here. So Pastor Many, we click on it. So the output, where are we sending this one to? So we are sending it to all buses, or we send it to the all vox, which is the one down here. So because it's also a vocal, but if you don't want to send it to a vocal, you can just say send it to bus or bus sub. So you can see something is coming out from here. But we might not want to go that route. We want everyone to go through an actual bus. Let's say let's rename this to all vox. Okay, so all voxes so all voxes now will now be an input to the all vox. So we click on this, so the output should now be going to all buses. So we're going through this one now. So you can see it's now working now. So that's for the vocals too. So now we now go for lead vox. The lead vox now, do the same thing. So we just pull in the bus, we just say, then we rename, that's leads. So seems a bus has been named lead is here. So we search for that lead. So lead, then lead. So lead now. So we go to, let's, so before we, so to make this faster, so we just take the BGVs also, buses. Is there any BGVs created? No. So we create BGVs. Then we rename them. Rename. That's BGVs. Okay, it has been used. So apparently it has been created before. Let's say, okay. So BGVs. So that has been created. We go for keys too. Keys. So these keys also are going to go to their respective. So go for the outputs. Then we search for, have we created keys? So you can pick one. Then rename. Make this one keys one. So the same thing applies to this one. Keys one. So the input of keys one will now be keys one. So anything that comes out of this place goes on. So the next thing we are going to do is for the pan. Add left, add right. So for that, that's working. So the output, we take the output to, do we have all keys here? Let's check the buses end. We have all keys. So the inputs, let's create the input first. All keys. Rename all keys. So the output is going to meet side chain. Mid SE. So we go back to the keys and the vocals. So we've done for lead, we've done for BGVs. So the next one we are doing the output of this one going to all keys. So the next on our list is keys 2. The output creates another keys as rename. Rename, that's keys 2. That's happened. So the input of this one will now be keys 2. The output, all keys. The routing is quite complicated, but if you get the drift or you don't get it, you can always go back and do it step by step. The next one we have here is the synth keys. So the output will be also the all keys. The guitar creates something for the guitar. The output of this one will be guitar, which is going to be stereo. So GUI. We have rename GUI. Then we have the output of each of those ones to be uh, rename. So here we have the guitar auto set. So the input of this guitar pre will now be the guitar we have been following. So that has been routed also. So you just follow the same trend, the same trend, the same trend. That's how you go through the kick. So you do the kick. So you do the talking drum, do the bass, every other one. So when you are done with everyone, so you now come back to the subs. The subs will now carry, okay, the guitar post, we say the guitar post is coming from the guitar out, or the guitar out is going to be coming here. So this is going to be going to the mid side for the mid side. The horns also, let's create the horns section. A stereo bus also. Horns out. So this is also going to be going to the mid side. So, but for bass is quite different. You can see that every one of these buses you'll be creating is stereo, but for bass, it's going to be a mono bass kick, and the other ones are going to they are going to be a mono bus or mono wire. The other ones are stereo cables, but this one is mono cable. So bass. So bass out. Then this one is going to be going to our all mix. It's great. That's all MX. So okay, so when you see MX, it means all music. When you see all vocals, be it singing or talking, that's all vox. But anything playing instruments are going to be grouped into all MX. That's all music. So, but keys, guitars, horns, because of their nature, they're going to be sent to a mid side chain. So they are going to be handling the mid side, the mid and the side of the music session. While you can see the bass, the talking drums, and the drums, they are handling the depths and all sides of it. So while I'm creating the mid side, I'm going to be side chaining the mix side to the vocals and the snare top. Why am I doing this? It creates room for the snare top and vocals in that, because most of the time the keys, the guitars, the horns, they kind of choke the mid section, the mid range section where the vocals are supposed to be prominent. They tend to, especially the synth, they tend to like grab most frequencies on the spectrum. So unlike kick, you can okay, this is where the kick is going to be, because most of the times you have EQ the kick. Okay, we don't want this particular area on the kick. We just want the top end and the fundamental frequency. Also, maybe for the bass, we have attenuated some part of the bass. We've boosted some parts, other ones. But for the keys, they tend to like, and because we don't want to like max, you don't want to like pull down those frequencies in a way, so we tend to like put a dynamic EQ on those EQ parts. So when the speech or the singing is not going on, they retain their full spectrum. But the moment the snare tops coming or the vocals coming, they duck a little depending on the dynamics or the threshold we set on those dynamic EQs. So that's why it's being sent to a mid section. So the keys, the guitar post, the horns, they are sent to a mixer board, a mid side sidechain ports or bus. So this way we now handle the whole thing. So this one, the input is going to be coming from the mid side stereo. So the output is going to be going to the all music. So the output now is going to the all MX, as all music. So this one is going to the all music, coming from the all music. Then the output is going to be the sub, which is all sub. So everybody is going to meet at the stream, which is here. This is all sub. Everybody is going to meet there eventually. So, but before they meet there, they have to go through those channels too. So the room, the drum parallel. So you will take care of that when you have the I'm going to be sending this template. You can download it for free, so you can complete the routing. So or if you want to start from the scratch, so just watch the video start from scratch, or from this place you can finish it up and do your plugins. And from my explanation, you should be able to get it. But the full version of it, I'm going to show maybe in subsequent videos. I'm going to be showing you the full video, and I'm going to be doing a test. You seen the test, how it works on both ends, and how we can, if it's something you can improve on when you buy it, you improve on it, you make it your own. So that would be the end goal. So from this place now, you can maybe have your BGV spread out, or you might not want to use the 100%. So if you go to your sense now, you can see it's following what you have here. It's following your send is going to be following. So when the moment you go to your listen bus, it will follow this pan. So you might not want that to happen for especially vocals. You want, when you want to listen to them, you want them to be at the center. So for these particular ones, you tend to take them off, take them to the center, take them to the center so they don't follow the. But for keys and for keys, for so anything that is not vocal, the ons, anyone have them at the way they are panned, especially stereo instruments, have them where they are panned. So when you are listening, maybe you are monitoring when you want to solo. So if you want to solo this vocal now, you just click on the control, then click. So these vocals now is now sending to the listen box. You can listen to it. Otherwise, if you click on this solo button, everything on the stream is going to shut down except these vocals. That's the only thing you're going to be hearing on the stream, which is you don't want to happen. So by all means, when you are streaming, you are doing a broadcast stream with using this, please avoid this solo button. So with this, next time you're going to be meeting, you're going to be showing you the test and the whole record, the whole thing that is being done. Thank you.